Fuck this shit. We're moving on, Kike.
Right.
Guess what? Thor: Love and Thunder has officially been shown to all these nerds on Thursday night, and of course, all of them, they signed their little bullshit agreement. They can't say the movie and shit. So, I pieced together the trailer in the order I think the movie happens, and with the various few spoilers that came out, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
I want to say, at the very least, this is 60% correct. 60 or 70% correct, with missing a lot of details that I don't know. And it may be, I don't know if Geek is up for it, because he's the one that's always, I'm too tired, I'm too busy and shit. Fuck you, Geek, I go to work too. But if we have time and the spoilers actually do come out, full spoilers, we might do a video maybe in a day or two, depending on, because today, and I'm talking about Friday, I up to like maybe 15 minutes ago when we took a break, I still checked online and nobody's putting them up. So there's not full spoilers, just close 100% spoilers. So it's just what I've been able to get together. All right, Kika, let's start how this fucking piece of shit movie starts. All right. They say the movie starts with Gores Origin, and Kike was translating to me from some fucking guy from one of these white Mexicans who talks like he's a fucking Spaniard and shit. And he was explaining to me that they're gonna say
it was just Spanish.
Yeah, they're gonna say that Gore's parents are gonna, or no, Gore's family and entire race is gonna die, and Gore is actually gonna search for the god of infinity, so that he can ask them to bring the family back to life. But on the way, Gore fails, or when he gets there, Infinity tells him no or some shit. I don't know. It just says that when he gets there, he gets disappointed. Yeah. He gets disappointed about his quest, and basically he gets mad, and he finds a sword, and the sword has the ability to kill any god. And so then he says, all right, since I found a sword and this motherfucker can't bring my family back, then I'm just going to kill every god, and they're all going to die and shit. And that's how the movie starts. And then we're going to take us into space, and we're going to see probably Korg telling that story to those kids from the trailer. And here, I'm just...
Get around, all you kids.
Yeah. And he's telling them the story about Thor and all this shit. And Thor, and about how he got back in shape, that he used to be fat, and he went on adventures with the Guardians, and he got back in shape. And then... that now he's like a peaceful guy, and he doesn't want to fight anymore. All right. And those are all just, I think, flashbacks and shit. But then they're going to get to a point where these aliens need help, and the Guardians offer to help them, but they don't want to. Thor is all like, well, I'm not that fighting god anymore and shit. And he's just there. But eventually he decides to go on there and help them and shit. And when he gets there, he fucking tells them all, like, I guess I'm back. And he decides, I don't know why. I guess, like I said, there's a lot of details missing. But the Guardians end up leaving him behind. All right. But before that, the people who he's helping, who they're going to help, they tell him, hey, there's these, we had gods, and they usually helped us. But somebody came and killed them. And Thor, that's the first time that Thor finds out, like, somebody's killing gods. All right, whatever. But he just stays with it in his head or whatever. But they leave. He saves the day, and he fucking saves these aliens from these bad guys and shit. And he tells the fucking Guardians, like, leave me behind and shit. And the goats are actually given to him by the blue aliens and shit. They give it to him as a reward for helping them. And those goats can fly through space and shit. And the Guardians leave. And they go on to their next adventure, which is probably going to be the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special that we're going to see on Disney Plus in December. And they leave and shit. And they do a stupid handshake that we've seen in the trailers. So they go back to New Asgard. And in New Asgard, we find out that it's like a tourist attraction. And all these motherfuckers go there. And they have a lot of tourism. And Jane Foster goes there because she has cancer. And I don't know if this is true, but I heard on the internet that the reason they're going to say she has cancer is because she got bleeped for 5 years, and when she came back, the radiation gave her cancer. I don't know if that's true because that would not explain. Well, what about everyone else who came back? Did they also get cancer and shit?
No, that's not true. From the video that you gave me, that it was in Spanish that you couldn't understand. It was like more like if she uses the power of the fucking thunder.
Well, no,
like she would like regress that fucking.
Well, that's what I'm gonna get at in a little bit.
All right.
The point is, the reason why she has cancer, supposedly, I don't know if this is true. The reason why she got cancer was because of the blip. But she goes to Asgard to find a cure, because they have technology that Earthlings don't. But when she gets there, Valkyrie can't help her because she didn't know how to fucking help her. But she goes, and we already saw the video. I don't have it here, but we already saw the video where she goes to the hammer, and the hammer, they have the pieces there of the broken hammer in display on an altar next to where Odin died. That's where Odin died. And they have the hammer there. And then she goes near it, and the hammer, for whatever reason, gets back together, and she grabs it, and she goes into the air, and she becomes the new Thor.
Yeah.
She gets powers. And that's what Kika was saying, is when she has the hammer, she's not affected by the cancer anymore. But the same time, using the powers accelerates or degenerates the chemo, just like in the comics, and it actually is killing her faster using the powers. But for the first time in her life, she feels important and she feels powerful, and she doesn't want to stop being. She doesn't want to drop the hammer. Right. So
I see what's going on. She's being more of a, I don't care if I die. I'm becoming a god. Like, I don't care if I'm dying. Like, I want to be helpful, basically.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. So, Thor starts figuring out as he's traveling that fucking their gods are being killed in different planets and shit. And so he travels back to New Asgard, to Earth, and they get attacked there. And we already know the spoilers that they're doing a play, and Matt Damon is Loki, and what's her name? Melissa McCarthy is fucking Hela, and Sam Neill is Odin. Like, all of these guys are gonna be there. And when Gore gets there, he's gonna think that they're the gods, that they're Thor and shit, and he's gonna kill them, thinking that they're the gods. And then all hell breaks loose. All these creatures come out that Gore summons. Thor is there fighting, and we've seen this in the trailer. That's when the Mighty Thor shows up for the first time with the hammer, and they all fight. They all fight these creatures. The Mighty Thor has a new power, dude. When she throws the hammer splits up into a gazillion pieces and shoots out like almost like bullets. And then when it comes back to her, it forms again. So every time she throws it,
more like a grenade, actually.
Yes, every time she throws it, she throws all these. The hammer splits into little pieces and fucks everything up, and then it comes back to her and forms again.
Jesus.
Valkyrie gets there, and they confront Gore, and Gore is all like, "Oh shit, they're a little bit more powerful than I thought," and he retreats into like the shadows and shit. And so they fucking have a reuniting, whatever, catching up, and they explain stuff. And Jane doesn't tell him that she has cancer. She doesn't tell him. She keeps it a secret. But another thing is that whenever she holds a hammer, she actually gets taller. Her hair gets longer, and her hair turns blonde. Because it's not supposed
I don't know about that shit. Like, the whole, like, oh, she's really, like, tiny. And now she's very fucking, like, I'm Thor.
Yeah, they made her wear platforms whenever she was in the costume so she could look taller. And, of course, she's wearing a wig because that's not her real fucking blonde hair. She's wearing a wig on top of that shit. And so they just wanted to make her more look like Thor and shit. We've seen a lot of these clips already. They're saying that this movie is 90% a comedy. That the only time it's serious is whenever Gore is on screen talking. Most of the time, it's just joke after joke after joke after joke, and that some people are not gonna like it.
Of course, the people that are like, "Oh, I want Thor to be mighty and shit." I'm okay with it being fucking funny. Why not? I mean, like,
Look, I just wanted to see how, because look, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 was not that funny, and there was joke after joke after joke, and some of the jokes were not hitting, and I thought it was overkill. They're trying to, excuse me, they were trying too hard. I'm burping as I'm talking.
Like you drinking, you're trying too hard. Yeah.
Hey, fuck you, yeah. I'm trying to explain the movie, you son of a bitch.
Well, I'm trying to explain yourself.
Anyways, let's move on to the movie. Thor tells him that Gore left to the shadow dimension, that he uses shadows to escape and move through shadows, and that they need to find a way to stop him. And so they decide to go to Olympus, or they call it some Omicron City or some bullshit. I don't even know what it's called. But they travel, we already seen the trailers, they travel to Olympus, to where the gods are. And they kind of sneak over there and shit. I'm fucking fast forwarding through all these scenes that I put together the whole fucking, every scene, every clip that I found, I put it together in the order that I think it's going to happen, motherfucker. So you're watching it right here. There's a bunch of jokes here. They're talking about chasing the rainbow and a bunch of bullshit. I didn't find it funny in the first clip, so I'm kind of worried now. If it is going to be joke after joke after joke, it might get fucking exhausting after like the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, I like it, actually. I'll be okay with it.
Well, we'll see. I haven't seen it yet, dickhead. I'm debating where I'm going to pay for this, because Gore the God Butcher doesn't look like Gore the God Butcher, and is basically not Gore the God Butcher.
Well, that's the only thing I don't like.
Yeah. But anyways, they move on, and they go to Atlantic City, or wherever the fuck the gods are. They take off the goats. The goats fly them, and they use the fucking axe to make a rainbow bridge and fly through space. And they get there, and they go undercover. But Thor gets found out, and of course we seen that they chained him up, and they get him naked, and then right there when they get him naked, that's when they call the goats, and the ship comes crashing in through the fucking window, and that creates a diversion, so that the heroes can rescue Thor. Right there, and they all start fighting, and they manage to steal fucking the thunderbolts from Zeus. The weapon that he has, the Valkyrie takes it from him, and they escape and they leave. But what's going on here is all the gods, not just the Olympian gods. All the gods are there. The Celestials are there. The Egyptian gods are there. The Black Panther god is there. Every god that ever existed is there. And they're talking about like someone's running around killing us and shit. And Thor and everybody's trying to explain to them, but they don't want to listen. And so they're like, fuck these guys. And they decide to just steal the weapon. They steal the thunderbolts and they fucking escape. And they leave. They fucking embarrass Zeus. Zeus, they say that he's played like an asshole. And I just paused it here. The Celestials there. The Celestials are there too. They're fucking afraid of Gore. They think Gore's going to kill them too. But they say Zeus has played like an asshole and kind of almost like a bad guy. Like whatever. But they escape. And when they escape and they're out in the fucking universe still traveling, Thor finds out about Jane having cancer and how using the hammer and the powers that is only killing her faster. And he's trying to tell her, don't do it. And she's telling him like, hey, I've been a nothing my whole life and I'm finally am powerful and I'm actually doing good. I'm about to save the world and shit, the universe. And so I'm not going to stop. I'm going to help, even if this is the last time I live. And so Thor, we don't have any clips of this, or at least I couldn't find any, but Thor gets captured by Gore. Gets captured, and Gore puts him in a prison. And actually, there was a clip from the behind the scenes. I should have gotten it. I forgot to get that one. But they show in the behind the scenes, and Thor is in a prison that looks like it's made out of wood or like thorns or something. But he's in a cage that's made out of wood and thorns. And Gore is holding Thor in that prison cage, and the cage is on top of an asteroid that's floating through space, heading towards that planet that Gore is on, that planet that's all black and white.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know exactly what Gore's plan is, but it has something to do with that planet, and it might be the God Bomb from the comic books. The God Bomb is like Gore. In the comic books, Gore actually travels back into the past trying to find the source of all the gods, and he finds out the only way to kill all the gods is to make a bomb, a very, very, very big bomb, which he actually enslaves. He enslaves a lot of gods to create this fucking bomb. And then he sends the bomb to the past to explode, to kill the gods before they're born. That's what he wants to do. Of course, Thor teams up with his Thor from the future, and his Thor from the past, and all three of them stop him. That would have been an epic story, but this bullshit what we're getting here. So I don't know what the planet, his plan is, but it has something to do with that planet and shit. So they go to that fucking planet to rescue Thor because he's there, and Jane Foster goes and Valkyrie go, and they all fight fucking Gore the God Butcher and shit. And they're all in black and white and shit. Oh, there, I'm showing the prison with the asteroid right there. But they all fight there in black and white. And what ends up happening is the Mighty Thor, Jane Foster, ends up sacrificing the hammer to stop Gore's plan. I don't know what the plan is. You motherfuckers are not saying the spoilers. But she sacrifices the hammer to stop Gore's plan. And when the hammer gets destroyed, she dies. Because she doesn't fucking have the powers anymore. And she's been using it the whole time. And the cancer is accelerated. And so she starts dying. And Thor is holding her. And they say their goodbyes. And she dies. And then Gore. Here's where it gets fucking lame. Gore feels sad about what she sacrificed herself. And he decides he doesn't want to kill any more gods anymore. And then I think the way they explained it, because the motherfucker talked in a fucking different tongue than me, is that I guess the god Eternity saw that Gore saw the sacrifice, you know, and he decides to give his life up to resurrect his daughter. And they resurrect his daughter back, Gore's daughter, and Gore dies. And then Thor, believe it or not, Kike, here's where it gets fucking lame as fuck more. Thor takes the daughter under his wing, and they leave on adventures together. That's how the movie ends. Jane Foster, Mighty Thor, woke-ass Thor, is not the new Thor. She dies. And Gore is lame as fuck in his redemption at the end. You know, in the comic books, he turned on his fucking son and daughters, and because they thought you're going crazy with this shit. You want to kill all the gods, and you don't care about us. And he still turned on them because he was evil and shit and corrupted to the end. He fucked up everything. He didn't even look like him.
There's a common thing here because, like, Thor and fucking like Quill have a common thing here. Like, both of, well, Quill, his mother, died of cancer, right? And Thor now has a ex-girlfriend who's dying of cancer, right? And this is going to be interesting because either that, I mean, we already fucking heard all the fucking, like, spoilers and shit, but, like, I think they're going to make it really fucking funny, but at the same time, they're going to make it really fucking sad, too. Someone's gonna die. Obviously, I think it's gonna be her. She's gonna die. Obviously, at the end.
You know, and it makes sense because you even said it that she wouldn't agree to multi-movies.
Yeah,
and you didn't understand why she decided to come back because if it's just a one-time thing, she said, "Yeah, I'll do it." If it's just one time, yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
The whole, like, I think Quill's gonna come back and try to fucking console, like, Thor in some way after she dies. I don't know.
I don't think so.
Thinking
the Guardians are gone. They're only in the beginning, and it's just for whatever flashback that Korg story is telling. He's telling the stories about the adventures he's had with the Guardians. But then they have one battle with those blue people. They rescue those blue people, and then the Guardians leave because they go on to their movie. They go on to the Christmas special and then to their own movie.
Yeah. So, blue people, by the way. We saw that on the latest episode.
We'll get into that in a little bit. But we're not done talking about Thor because they even have the end of credit scenes. Both of them.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So the first end of credit scenes is Zeus is pissed off because Thor made him look like an asshole and broke everything there when they escaped. And you know, he's supposed to be the strongest god. And they escaped and made him look, and they stole his weapon. And he's all pissed. And he calls upon one of his demigod sons, Hercules. And Hercules is being played by Brett Goldstein, one of those fucking soccer players from that fucking Ted Lasso show with that other fucking guy from SNL and shit. I don't understand why he get this motherfucker. He may look like Hercules from the face, but he's small and skinny and shit. Hercules supposed to be big, motherfucker, like Dwayne The Rock Johnson and shit.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that picture right there. That's all. That says it all right there.
Guess so. I mean, I have never seen Ted Lasso, and I know who you're talking about. I just don't remember his fucking name. But yeah.
I don't know what the fuck they're doing, and they fucked up. If this is true, it sounds like everybody's confirming. They're confirming this for sure. All the news media outlet that he's Hercules in the MCU, and that Zeus gets pissed and sends Hercules to go find Thor and kill him, avenge me because he disrespected me and the gods here in the council.
Really?
So that's what Hercules' mission is, and that's gonna be Thor Part 4 and shit. No, Part 5. Because they're probably going to do Part 5. And that's just the first post-credit. The end of credit scene is none other than Idris Elba back as Heimdall. And he is at the gates of Valhalla. And Jane Foster, Mighty Thor, is at the gates of Valhalla, and he welcomes her in to the afterlife, to the Nordic afterlife.
Valhalla?
Yeah. And I don't know why, but it would be, this is not confirmed, this is my wishing. It would be cool if back there, as she walks into Valhalla, she sees Odin, she sees Loki, she sees Freya, she sees all the Warriors 3 and Lady Sif, everybody who's died in all the Thor movies there in Valhalla.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
No, I don't think it's gonna happen neither. I think it's just because all they say is this: that he's there and he welcomes her into Valhalla at the gates.
Yeah.
So she gets allowed into the Nordic afterlife. That's badass.
I mean, that would be badass.
Overall, Thor: Love and Thunder, Kike, what did you think about this movie? If it is true.
It's almost like you're asking me, hey, you haven't seen the movie? What do you think about the movie? From what I said.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically.
I want to see the movie because you're not that funny. I want to see the fucking movie because the movie obviously is going to be more funny than what you described. But I don't like this fucking alien motherfucker.
They ruined Gore? First of all, if you're going to bring Gore into this movie, it should have been adapted like Gore. But not only that, but it should have been a serious movie. None of these jokes throughout the entire fucking movie. And they say
that was the thing.
Plain and simple. The only time that it gets serious is whenever Gore is talking. All of a sudden, the music changes and there's no jokes telling. But everything else is joke after joke, and that's the way it's being described. Joke after joke after joke. You're laughing and you're missing 3 or 4 jokes because you're laughing.
Well, the thing is, like, they did the same thing with what was it, like the last fucking movie, and
it wasn't that much. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 was like that. It was joke after joke after joke, and some of the jokes were not hitting, and it was just like, this movie's trying too hard.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. A lot of people fucking hated the fucking last movie, and I liked it. It was really good, and I like the fucking funny factor, and that's why I like Ant-Man and everything that is funny out of Marvel fucking things, because like at the end of the day, it's a comic book. It's a comic book.
Yeah, you just want to have fun. I get you.
It's comic book. At the end of the fucking day, it's a comic book. Don't take your fucking life so seriously. Yeah, if you want to see something fucking so serious that it's gonna be gross and crazy and gory, go watch fucking like Marvel. Not Marvel, but like DC shit that is like done.
Go watch The Boys, not DC.
Well, yeah, The Boys. Yeah, The
Boys is the only thing that's good for like mature audiences.
Nowadays, yeah, it is. But you know, Batman stuff is really
DC
good.
could have been that.
Yeah.
And Zack Snyder was gonna make it that.
Zack Snyder kind of fucked up too. I'm not sure, but like, I mean, there's some stuff that like Zack Snyder done.
No, they didn't give him a chance, Kike. They didn't give him a chance.
It's entertaining. It's entertaining. That's all I'm saying, man.
They didn't give him a chance.
Hey, like shit like this, make sure you like and subscribe to our channel and check out the full podcast on the link to the right, where we discuss more topics we don't post on these short videos. Peace.